Hello, everyone. I'm so glad to welcome today Mr. CHIRAG SUBRAMANIAN. He is a data scientist, senior data scientist in Walgreens, Chicago. And he has moved from India, if I'm not wrong, Mumbai to Chicago to pursue his career. But how is life as a student and now, as a professional? Only Chirag can tell us. So, Chirag, you're most welcome in my podcast, The EXPAT Post. Please tell us something about yourself, how you moved, how you decided to go to, USA, which is one of the most bestest place to live in. Yeah. And that's what I think rest of the world thinks. You will tell us better. Please tell us.
Sure, Abhilasha. Thank you for having me on your channel. It's really nice to be
Most
here.
welcome. Most welcome.
So I was born in 1990, a 90s baby, you know, and I had a wonderful time growing up with my parents in Mumbai. And we lived in a variety of places in Mumbai, like Mulund, Andheri, and Bandra.
Hey.
And coming to my academic performance, I was a topper throughout my schooling, and until I reached high school. I mean, in the 10th grade in 2006, I scored 92% in the ICSE board exams
Wow.
and and stood really high in my overall school ranking. And 92 was a really good score at that time in 2006.
Sure. Absolutely.
You know,
Yes. Agree with
but
you.
I had been studying very hard and I just needed a break. So, like both my parents were working, and in the 11th and 12th, they put me, seeing my excellent performance in the ICSE board exams, they put me to IIT coaching, which did not go well with me because I wasn't understanding what was going on with the lessons because we used to keep around 50 of us in a very small room for
Yeah.
8 hours a day
Mm.
and make us learn formula after formula after formula. So I lost confidence in my own abilities, and I didn't get a great score in the 12th standard. From 92% in the ICSE board, I went down to 54% in the 12th standard. But I did not study, so I did not get good marks. And then after 2 months, I had to retake the 12th standard examinations, HSC, and I got 64% after studying for 2 months, for 1 month basically. And then I put a little more effort in my drop year. I'd taken a drop year because with my initial score, I had not gotten a good enough percentage to be considered at any good university. So I had given CET and a few other entrance examinations. And then I also gave Manipal Institute of Technology's examination, which had mathematics, physics, chemistry, and as well as English. So I think due to my performance in mathematics and physics and English, I got a very good All India rank of 2,954 in the Manipal entrance exam. And I mechanical engineering or civil engineering or even like computer science, you know, but I chose mechanical engineering because it was one of the most highly ranked branches in India at the time. Mechanical was very highly ranked in Manipal. I mean, it was as good as the IITs in India. Mechanical was as good
Yes.
as
It's very
Mechanical from Manipal
respectful.
is as good as IIT.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I chose mechanical engineering, and then and then but it was a tough time for me in 2009 because I had to go away from my family for the first time, and my
Right.
parents were working. My father was working, my mother was working, and then even my grandmother, she was sick and she was paralyzed. So my mother and father had to take care of her. So I had to take care of myself in Manipal, and I was very young at the time. I was just around 18, 19 years old. So I just wanted to enjoy my life, in Manipal as a student. And so
Of course.
I would say that I just explored everything in Manipal, like the beautiful beaches, made friends, had a good time. And yeah, but like my circle of friends in 2009, 2010 wasn't great because they were more into enjoying life rather than studying. So I think all of them, with the exception of myself, dropped out of the college. So
Oh,
I was the only one who got the degree at the end of the 4 years.
wow.
So, due to being in bad company for a year,
Right.
I lost out. I failed a year in Manipal by 1 credit, and that
Oh,
was by just 3 credits. I failed a year. It needed around 206 credits, and I had 203. So because of 3 credits, that's one subject I failed a year, and that was devastating.
Of
And ever
course.
since I lost a year, it was a big disappointment for me, being a 92% and a ranker throughout my college. To lose a year was very bad. So I decided that I will at least put in enough effort to clear the courses, at least not fail subjects moving on. So from that 2012 onwards, I did not fail a single course, and I passed all the courses. And although my GPA was not that good, it was only around, you would say, around 6.4 or 6.5 out of 10, but still it was enough to clear the
That's
courses.
okay. Yeah, of course. That is, like if you have made it, and you have made it, Chirag, right? So
Yeah, yeah,
I think that all matters. It doesn't really matter how much you have scored. I would say,
yeah,
like, when you were the only one who got through, who actually completed the course and passed, that is one of the biggest achievement. I've never heard of something like this. That is
yeah,
so good. And despite you were feeling lonely and stuff like that, that's so good. That's so good. So then
yeah,
I
yeah.
think you wanted to move to US for better studies and all.
Yeah, yeah. So that was when I decided to think about my future.
Mhm.
That in like 2013 was my final year, and 2013, 2014 was my final year. And as I was entering my final year, there were a couple of back papers that I was clearing. Like I had to give two extremely difficult papers in one day. That was mathematics 2 from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. and then heat transfer from 2 p.m. to 5 p.m. All of them involved a lot of complex differential equations, calculus, and I'm
Mm.
proud to say that I excelled in both of those papers, and I
Wow.
cleared both of them in one single day. And then
Wow.
my fifth semester got over, and then I went back to my into Mumbai, and then I was interested in the GRE. So for 1.5 months, I really worked hard and put a lot of efforts into GRE. I would study 7 to 8 hours a day on the GRE, quantitative, verbal, and analytical writing assessment. And I
Mhm.
was proud to share that in August 2013, I scored 323 out of 340 on the GRE exam with
Wow.
a score of 164 in quantitative,
Right.
159 in verbal, and 5.0 in analytical writing, which was a percentage of 93% globally, percentile
Yeah.
globally.
That was
So I
like
got,
a really good score.
yeah. So once I got that score, it became more clear to me as to what I wanted to do.
Mm-hmm.
Then in 2014, I got a pre-placement offer from Byju's, which was the company in India,
Yeah, yeah,
and
yeah.
it was a marketing product development internship. So while I was doing the internship, I got some operations research experience using the Hungarian assignment algorithm, basically, assign Byju's students to
Mm-hmm.
Byju's centers.
Acha.
So that was my experience, and I did some research on how I could optimally assign students to centers. And that was part of my final project report as well for my bachelor's degree. And
Mm-hmm.
working on that
That sounds
made
very
me,
interesting though. Like you just, like you design some kind of thing so that assign students to different centers. Is that
yeah,
correct?
yeah, yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that, there was a program for that. There was a code for that. That sounds really interesting. I think nobody knew this.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's an optimization algorithm, right?
Okay.
So in 2014, in April, I still remember April 15th was the last date of universities to apply to US universities, and I
Mhm.
decided to apply on March 29th. So by April 4th, I had applied to 7 US universities,
Okay.
and by April 8th or April 10th, I mean, by April 8th, I got my first rejection. That was from Sunny Buffalo. And they said, we don't care about your GRE score. Your academics are weak, so we don't accept weak academic students. So that was very disappointing. Then
Hmm.
my second rejection came from my second most favorite college, which was University of North Carolina, Chapel Hill, which is a public Ivy and it's highly ranked for statistics and operations research. That
Mhm.
rejection came on the 22nd of April. So I got two rejections and I was so depressed that I thought that there's no way I'm going to go to the US because I've been rejected by two of the top colleges I applied to, and now there's no chance.
But
Then on 24th April, I was feeling so sad that I was not hoping anything. I was completely devastated. And then I
right.
came back home from Byju's work, and I
Mhm.
told my manager I'd applied to US University. He said, "Okay, I understand. Go back home and take rest." So I went back home. The time was 6 o'clock. Then I just lied down on the bed and slept. Okay. Then
Mhm.
then uh, then I went to the restroom to wash my face, and after I came out of the restroom, I saw 2 missed calls from my dad on my phone. So then I
Oh.
thought, why is my dad calling me at this time? So then I called my dad and he's like, Chirag, Northeastern University has admitted you. And that was so amazing to hear those words. And Northeastern was a great university, is a great university. It's
Right.
ranked in the top 50 in the US, and it's highly ranked for engineering and computer science. So operations research is a great course. And I was admitted to the Master of Science in Operations Research program at Northeastern University. And that was a
You
great achievement.
achieved what you wanted, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah,
That matters a lot. That must have boosted your morale. And call
yeah.
from dad about that.
Yeah. I was so happy. Like all my efforts, like I'd worked so hard on my statement of purpose, and
Hmm.
my
Yeah.
professors had written letters of recommendation for me.
Okay.
I'd worked on my statement of purpose, and then I'd worked on my application so hard, and it all came to fruition. You know,
Mm-hmm.
and then it was one next few months were amazing. I cleared the visa interview, and then I got the visa, and then I also got an admit from Wayne State University for their masters in industrial engineering. But since Northeastern University was the higher ranked university of the two, and I wanted to explore Boston, so I decided to go for Northeastern.
Okay.
So then I went to Northeastern in September 2014, and then I worked there, and then I studied there for 2 years, from
Mhm.
2014 to 2016. And around December 2014, I decided that maybe data science is exploding right now as a field, and
Yes.
operations research is anyway about optimization and algorithms and all of that. So it's definitely related to data science, right? So why not explore data science more? So that's when I decided to apply to Stanford University
Oh.
for their like a summer program,
Mm-hmm.
which graduate students and undergraduate students had
Mm-hmm.
to apply to be accepted to. So
Mm-hmm.
I applied for the summer program, and I found out that I was accepted 1 month
Wow.
after I applied. And by that time, I'd got a good GPA in my first semester. So I think that played a part in my being accepted. So then I went to Stanford, and those 2 months were the best 2 months of my life, the best summer of my life. It's such a beautiful university. There's so
Stanford.
much to see at Stanford University in California. And then I took some amazing courses like data mining, statistical learning, theory of investment portfolios and derivative securities, like all machine learning and data mining courses. And that was my first introduction to R and data mining and machine learning. And the
Wow.
best part was that I was able to get my courses transferred to my graduate degree. So 20% of my master's degree is from Stanford, and 80% is from Northeastern. And
I have to say that you have a wonderful memory, isn't it? Did someone tell you, or do you know already that you have a kind of identical memory? Like you remember each and every detail so, accurately, I believe. Yeah, isn't it?
yeah, because it matters to me. All these things that matter to me.
Yeah,
So I
no,
remember
but
them.
I think, yeah, it matters, but still the things which matters to us, we may not remember with that accuracy. So you have a
Yeah,
great, great memory. Great.
yeah, yeah,
That's wonderful.
yeah.
Okay.
Thank you,
Then
Abhilasha.
what?
Yeah.
Then how you?
Then I got a job at Smiley Go, which was my first job. That was a machine learning startup. So that was founded in Berkeley. Berkeley and Stanford are very close to each other. So
Mm.
like their CEO posted in the Stanford summer session Facebook group saying that we're looking for interns in machine learning and data science. So I applied and I was approved, and I got the job. And it was a co-op job. Like 3 months, 2 months it was pro bono, and the next 3 4 months was paid on a co-op. And
Wow.
I was the algorithm lead and the algorithm manager. So I was managing a team of 6 undergraduate data science interns, and we were basically building a machine learning model to rank nonprofits in the US based on financial governance and social impact ratio, and
Mhm.
then to match them to corporations using machine learning. So I basically built a boosted decision tree algorithm to rank the nonprofits, and then to optimally match them to companies willing to donate to. So basically, it was a way to vet or to judge nonprofits so that companies could invest in them.
I'm learning a lot of things. So, like the things which we feel like, we are matching manually or just like that. This goes well with that. Actually, you have a code and algorithm. I wasn't aware because probably I am not, that
Yeah,
kind of, I'm not from that
yeah,
field. Of course,
yeah.
but it is a good information for me too.
Yeah,
Okay.
like the use case was simple. Like, for example, if a company wants to donate to a nonprofit,
Mm.
and help underprivileged people, then it will go to Smiley Go's website and look at the and filter by industry location.
Mm-hmm.
For example, if it wants to invest in nonprofits in San Francisco, then you will get the top 5 nonprofits in San Francisco, and that top 5 ranking is what I designed. It was a
Wow.
machine learning ranking. Yeah,
Wow.
yeah, yeah,
That's
yeah.
wonderful. It's
So I
really
work.
like
Yeah,
uh, super, very nice, great work.
yeah. Thank you.
And then
So I
how
worked
you're
at Smiley
settling
Go.
down in US? How did you feel? Like you worked a lot and you excelled. There is no doubt.
Yeah,
But how did
yeah,
you find the difference? What was the difference in life? Lifestyle or culture. And the
yeah.
ways of living. Everything. How did you find it different and how you settled?
Yeah, it was certainly not easy for me. I
Mhm.
mean, I would say I just went along with the flow. You know,
Okay.
I uh, I learned cooking, which was not easy, but I
Mm.
learned how to cook, and now I can cook very good dal. I can cook bhindi. I can cook tenli. I can cook cauliflower. I can cook cabbage. I can cook sambar. I can cook dosa. I can cook idli. Basically, a lot of stuff.
Wow.
So
The
I
full
learned to cook on my own, and of course Maggie too. That's what I cook tonight
that
with.
I think, yeah. Probably you started with Maggie.
Yeah, I started with Maggie. Yeah, yeah, yeah. But yeah, wasn't easy going away from your country because I grew
Mhm.
up in India for 24 years, but and Boston was very cold,
Hmm.
freezing -20, -30 is very common in January, December. But I was living in like university accommodation, and I decided early on that I needed a single room, so I couldn't share accommodation with other roommates and manage there. So I had a single room, and I was able to live comfortably in a single room and do the cooking myself. I had flatmates, but my room was my own, and that privacy was definitely required. So I was
Right.
willing to pay a bit more for that, but it was definitely worth it. That I was
Mhm.
able to focus more on my courses and my assignment. So I came
Yes.
back to Boston in January 2016 after finishing my co-op at Smiley Go, and then I had 8 months of my graduation left, and I decided to go for the master's thesis option because I was interested in like conducting research in a new field, which was
Mm-hmm.
basically catastrophe modeling. Now, what is catastrophe modeling is basically like, you have these hurricanes, earthquakes, wildfires, tornadoes, you know, you have all these natural disasters. So catastrophe modeling is a way in which you can use science and physics and mathematics and computer science to help companies ensure residents of those areas from damage due to these events. So, for
Okay.
example, if you know what is the wind speed of the tornado,
Mm-hmm.
if you know
Mm-hmm.
what's the intensity of the tornado, then you can calculate the amount of financial loss from the
Right.
tornado,
Right.
and you can and insurers can adjust their premiums accordingly. So
Mm.
that is the application of the work that catastrophe modeling analysts do, and I was really interested in exploring that. So
Yeah.
my master's thesis was about I had like around 65 years of tornado data, and I basically conducted some data mining and time series analysis on it and machine learning analysis on it to try and forecast
Mm-hmm.
like different tornado attributes, like the path length, the path width, you know, the property damage due to a tornado in dollars, etc.
So
And
basically,
it was,
you're a data scientist who can work any data. Is that correct?
yeah,
Because tornado you have not learned in India. Definitely.
yeah,
Then
yeah, yeah,
I'm very impressed with data science itself, and data scientists, of course, because it is giving you completely a different kind of perspective and information and how to deal with that. That's amazing. I was
yeah,
not too aware of it. Wonderful.
yeah. Thank
Okay,
you, thank
then.
you. So my work with tornadoes got me the got me an interview call from Aon, which is a
Mhm.
reinsurance brokerage and leading insurance intermediary. So they were interested in my thesis. So I had around 3 or 4 intense interviews with them back to back, and then they really quizzed me a lot on my thesis and my knowledge of machine learning and data mining and various machine learning algorithms like bagging, boosting, random forests, etc. But the good news is, after a 3-month interview process, I got an offer letter for the job of analyst analytics in the research and development department of Aon, of impact forecasting, which is the catastrophe model development center of excellence at Aon. So I got an offer from there, and I joined Aon. And yeah, I moved to Chicago. That was a new phase of my life. From like September 2016, I started working at Aon, and then that was my first job in analytics after graduation was at Aon. I worked there for 4.5 years, and I made some amazing connections and friends and colleagues. And I worked on some really cool projects, like, for example, the severe convective storm catastrophe model, where I built a catastrophe model powered by data science and analytics. And I created a data set of more than 600 million records. And I used a lot of probability distributions and copula and pre-copula and a lot of, like, binomial and Poisson and variety of probability distributions to simulate different aspects of tornadoes. And in catastrophe modeling, you simulate stochastic sets over geographies. For example, I was working on the United States model. So I was basically, I did spatial sampling to mitigate reporting bias. And also, urban bias, spatial sampling to mitigate urban bias. And then I performed statistical detrending to mitigate reporting bias, to ensure that there's no gaps in the historical data. So I had to do these kernel smoothing methods to ensure that the data is not being underreported or overreported. So I worked on a lot of such techniques and some amazing projects and built some machine learning models. And then, yeah, I worked for 4.5 years at Aeon until 2021. And then after that, I worked for a couple of other companies like Amwins Group and Holland America Line as a data scientist. And then in May 2022, I got probably the best job of my career so far, which was as a senior data scientist at Walgreens. There were some visa issues because of which Walgreens initially rescinded the offer because the earlier position I interviewed for did not offer visa sponsorship.
But I
But
think
after 6 months,
of course,
I was able to get into it. They
that's
offered me a new position which offered sponsorship, and I
right.
was able to join Walgreens. And I've been working for 1.5 years at Walgreens so far.
How do you
And
see your life, Chirag, in when, like I would say you are a very focused person. One of the
yeah,
very most focused person ever I have probably seen, you know. But how do you see your life in like next 5 years or 10 years? Where do you see? Do you think that you will settle in US or you come back or you go to
yeah,
some other country? What do you think you are seeing yourself as?
yeah. So the thing is, I'm also busy with my second master's degree,
Oh
which
my
I
God.
started in 2020. Was a master's degree in computational data analytics from GeorgiaTech, which is ranked 9th in the
Yes,
world
yes, yes.
for data science by QS World University Rankings. So it's
Mm-hmm.
globally in the top 10. It's a very
Yes.
rigorous and demanding
Georgia Tech
degree,
is
and
very
and
famous.
pursuing it along with my job has been very challenging.
Correct.
So there are about 12 courses. There are about 11 courses and one practicum, so 12 courses to be taken. And I'm currently in my 7th course. So I plan to complete it by the end of next year,
Mm-hmm.
by the end of 2024.
Okay.
So my visa, due to some visa issues, my visa is expiring. My work visa is expiring in January 2024, and I would need to spend 8 to 9 months in India until I'm able to come back on a new visa because of
Mm-hmm.
visa rules. So,
Mm-hmm.
so that's why in that time in India, I'll be focusing more on my Georgia Tech degree. And then
Mm-hmm.
once I'm back, I'm tentatively plan to be back in the US in September 2024.
Mm-hmm.
And then once I'm back, I will continue working in the US. So I want to work in the US for some more years, maybe 5, 6 years at least,
Mm-hmm.
and have a good time here, and then decide what my plan is.
Okay, you
Because
have
my parents are also in India. My parents are in India. I'm here. So I also am looking to get married at some point, maybe in a
course,
year or two, Yeah, yeah.
of course. So US is not final yet, yeah?
Yeah, but my life, as I told you, has not been bad for someone who got only 54% in the 12th and who
But
failed a year in
90%.
Manipal.
Yeah, but
I
you
faced so
no,
many challenges.
yes,
Yeah,
yes, no doubt about it. But I think you have always shown the resilience and perseverance. That is like is very important thing for life. You have shown a character, grit, which is
yeah,
very important. Like it's not just for 10 or 15 years of lifetime where you are studying or doing some job. I'm very sure
yeah,
that in future whoever you marry will be lucky to have you because of your these traits. And I
yeah,
just hope that she will hear this interview and she will see the real person who you are. What are your other hobbies, Chirag? Like I
yeah.
think whatever you put your mind to, you do well in it, you excel in it.
Yeah, yeah,
Cooking now, and you're studying so well. You explored so many things. What are your other
yeah.
hobbies?
I like playing table tennis. I'm really good at it. I play very good table tennis,
Mm-hmm.
and I also like to write articles and poems, and I write very
Wow.
good poetry.
Oh,
And actually,
really? Can we
I
hear
have won
more?
an I
Yeah.
have won an international award for poetry in
Oh
2012.
my God. You have won an
Yeah,
award for poetry writing. That's
yeah,
can we hear poetry? Is it possible? Like, is it
yeah. I
like
mean,
easily accessible or you remember maybe most?
yeah. I have my poems on Quora, so I could share it with you, and then you could take a look at them. Yeah,
Okay, sure, sure. Like so I knew just you as a, data scientist, a young expat, right? But
yeah,
you are much more than that. Like you are a cook, you have achieved so much in life despite failures. You write poetry. That was the revelation, I would say. That was great. And you play. That is wonderful. Very nice.
yeah.
What else? What do
So
you like? Yes, please tell me.
one of the main reasons why I did this video is because many people give up when they fail in life. For
Yes.
example, in undergraduate or in their 12th.
Hmm.
But even if you get low marks in the 12th, or even if you fail in undergraduate and if you don't like your field, you should still stick and get the degree, because once you have a 4-year degree, then you can move forward and achieve
Yes.
great things.
That is the
So
best thing what you
that's
said.
what I kept telling myself, that come on, Chirag, you can do it. You can do it. You can do it. And I did it. I got the degree. I got a 4-year degree. And then I got a master's degree, and that too with a great GPA of 3.63 out of 4, which is around 9 out of 10.
Hmm.
And then I'm doing a second master's degree, that too with a good GPA. And then that too from a top school like GeorgiaTech. So Northeastern and GeorgiaTech. And also I'm working at a Fortune 16 company, which is Walgreens Boots Alliance. And I think I'm done well. And there's still picture abhi baki hai. There's a lot to watch for and a lot to see,
Yeah.
and the sky is the limit. So I made the right decision of coming to America, and my parents supported me and believed in me, and I'm very grateful to my parents for supporting me financially when I came to study my master's in America. So I'm very grateful to my family for believing in me and giving me support, and with their
Yes.
support I was able to achieve all
Of
of these
course.
dreams.
Of course. Parents' support is very important, and they did support you. And
Yeah,
you have been a good son. I believe you that you must
yeah,
be doing you whatever will be required in future. It was
yeah,
wonderful having you, Chirag, on my show, and I got to know a lot of aspects about you. Because I just knew that you are a data scientist, as I said, but you have so many layers, and you come across as a very, a nice and sober, and yet very person who has great focus in mind.
yeah.
All my best wishes for you in your future, and I hope that you find everything what you are destined for and what you wish for, because I think you can make your destiny. You are those kind of persons. So great having you. All the best wishes. Thank you for
Thank
joining.
you, Abhilasha.
Thank you
It was
so
a
much.
pleasure being on your channel. Thank you.
Thank you so much.